Sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress. Welcome to Souq News, your source for business, economy, and development insights that drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest economic hub, Souq News takes you on a journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. Souq News is more than a channel. It is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and fuel progress. Covering business, finance, technology, energy, and many more, Souq News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, and analysis that empowers your understanding of economic landscape. Join us daily as we dissect, discuss, and deliver the most relevant and factual news on business and the economy. Souq News is your trusted guide, empowering you with the knowledge to make informed decisions.
My name is Olatunji Shoti Miri. I'm a performing artist and television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Souq News. If you're not watching Souq News, I pity you, but keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timmy Dakolo and you're watching Souq News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Souq News. Guys, keep watching Souq News for everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news. Souq News is your station.
Hello and welcome to Souq Pulse, where we take you around the world. We take you around Africa, Asia. We look at policies and then we look at the businesses, how they contribute or affect countries and individuals. My name is Grace Komolafe. Of course, I know today you are expecting to see John Rogers. Of course, it's International Women's Day, and we've decided to make it all women affairs. And that's why you're not seeing Chooks on the show today. Let me do this on his behalf. So happy International Women's Day to you out there if you are watching. Yes, we'll have a guest in the house and we'll be looking at the involvement of women, in business space and in every sphere. This year's theme is actually talking about investing in women and accelerating progress. So we'll be looking at how much women are doing out there, starting from the home front and out there into the other spaces like businesses and development, yes. But at this point, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, I'll be introducing our guest to you who will be shedding more light on the topic for International Women's Day. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
My name is Veronica Nkechi Eze.
Charles Abana.
My name is Professor Martins Emeje.
Professor Sylvester Odion Akaine.
Keep
watching Souq
News TV.
The best news channel online.
It's elevating, it's enlightening, it's educating.
Muhammad Ali found his root in Africa. Rumble in the jungle. I swear the king is humble. Jesse Jackson, O.J. Simpson, this is black history. Andrew Young visit Africa in the late 60s. Legend, Bob Marley make the light different. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are big names. They fought for black Americans in the old days. We need same revolution in our own ways. Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Mr. Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre and Eddie Murphy. American prosperity ain't complete with African poverty. It's legendary Idris Abdul Karim, and you are on to Souq News.
All right, thank you for joining us. Welcome back to Souq Pause. Once again, my name is Grace Komalafe. I want to remind you again, it's International Women's Day and it's all about women. So we will be going straight into to this topic. We want to relate it to the theme of the International Women's Day for this year, which is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. We're talking about women's involvement, you know, how well they are actually doing, how much have been invested, and of course, how much do you expect to still be invested in the female folks? And to have some of this conversation, I have with me a guest in person of Imade Osare, who is a seasoned and certified HR business strategist with over 10 years of experience in human resources and management. Imade, it's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So, happy International Women's Day.
Same to you.
Okay, so let's get into it. You know, invest in women, accelerate progress. Would you say is a step in the right direction? You know, looking at it at this point in time, is it coming timely? Looking at what women are doing so far in their various spaces, what would you say?
Oh, well, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd say it's very timely. And I'd say it couldn't have come at a better time. You know, it should have come way before now, right? Because I feel like women have actually been put at the background. Women have actually not been allowed to, you know, flex their muscles as much as, you know, they actually can, because trust me, women have their natural giftings that, you know, that make them being able to do more in different spheres of life, say medical spheres, you know, in my sphere, human resources, in banking, in finance. You know, I feel like women should be invested in more. You know, if we can do more towards investing in women, I believe we can get a whole lot more done.
All right. Okay. So thank you. You know, to some male folks, when you talk about advocacy, especially looking at gender equality, you know, and all of that, they would say, "Oh, women are asking for too much." So I want to bring it down to your profession. Would you say you have women doing enough, or I mean, it's an environment where you think you need more women to take over? I mean, I'm not really saying taking over, but of course to have their footings in that industry. What would you say?
Okay, well, speaking of my industry, I think women have done quite a lot in my industry, because most times people actually make this general remark that, okay, human resources is mostly a woman-based career line.
Yeah.
You know, it's a woman-based sector. And I think because of our natural strengths, it makes us in our element, because human resources, you have to deal with people, you know, you have to have a very high level of emotional intelligence to be able to play well in that space. So I think women have been adequately represented in human resources, but I think, you know, there's still room for more. And speaking of other spheres, other sectors, I think women have been underrepresented in so many other, take for example, engineering.
Okay.
I can tell you as an HR expert, most times when you're actually like doing your gender analysis, right, we usually see a great imbalance in the engineering departments. We have mostly men in that sector, and there's this general belief that, okay, it's only men that can do these things. Also in the tech space, people believe that, oh, it's mostly men that can do these things. But guess what? When I'm looking out for people to do these jobs, I tend to laser focus on women, because women that have been able to break into these spaces, right? Women that have been able to break into these spaces, they do excellently well. For example, women are naturally detailed, you would agree with me.
I agree.
Right? I'm not, no offense against the men, but women are naturally detailed. So it makes them able to see through the cracks. It makes them able to see what men would naturally ignore, you know, and these details count when it comes to the job, you know. So naturally you find women excelling in those areas. But because, okay, let's say, for example, engineering, there's okay, women are not built for that kind of job. Trust me, I know a lot of women that are doing engineering, you know, subsea engineering, marine, and the likes. They're doing very well for themselves, and their physical makeup has not been a hindrance, has not hindered them in any way. So I think women should be given a chance at the very least, right? Women should be given a chance, and you know, it would blow your mind what women can achieve when they put their minds to it.
Well, I can't agree with you. And of course, I want to bring it down to this question, emotionally. You know, when you say invest in women, you know, and we don't just want to look at it from the physical aspect of it, where you have to go to work, where you have to do businesses, or where you have to acquire skills, you know. There are some, emotionally, you look at women, I mean, you mentioned earlier that they're more detailed, you know, but bringing it down to, you know, having to handle some emotional things, some personal experiences, how well would you say this drive has actually gone? You know, because a lot of women, you see them go through a lot, they keep it quietly, yet you see them out there doing their thing. They come to the office, they go to their business places, they attend to what they need to do, but yet they have a lot that they deal with in between. So how much of this drive would you say we should put out there? How do you think we can invest in women emotionally to be able to handle things, you know, and feel, oh, okay, the strength is there, I can even go beyond this?
Okay, one thing that strikes me in this, your question, right, is mental health, women's mental health, investing in women's mental health. I don't think a lot has been done in that regard. But I feel like women are, because we are multifaceted, right? We handle things on the home front. We handle things at the office. We handle the kids. Sometimes, you know, some of us actually go as far as having businesses, you know. So women handle a lot. And because of, like I always say, our natural giftings, we're able to balance it out. But that, because we're able to balance it out, doesn't mean we are unbreakable, right? Okay. At some point, there's a breaking point. And we need to encourage women to be more open about their emotional struggles and be more open to sharing these troubles and these challenges with people who can provide help, right? So another point I would like to raise is that when someone actually said that when you give something to a woman, she multiplies it back to you. But trust me, if this woman is depleted, she can't do much. She can't give much of herself. You have to be able to, you have to pour from a full cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
You can't give what you don't have.
Yes, you cannot give what you don't have. So we need to invest in women's emotional health. Encourage women, if they need to go for counseling or therapy, because I come across women that deal with things daily. Every day they deal with things. That's why part of my job as a human resource professional is, you know, I try to break that barrier of, oh, it's the office, it's the office. Sometimes people just need someone to talk to. They just need someone to open up to. And so part of my job is being a therapist, or, you know, it helps when you can unburden.
Okay, so you hear some senior officers say that, oh, when you're going to your workplace, when you get to the gate, whatever challenge it is, you drop it, you know, at the gate, so it doesn't affect your work. Now, probably I'm just going to generalize because be you a man or a woman, we definitely would have challenges. So coming to your profession, how do you help them see reasons that, you know, this is just, we are being human, you know, regardless of the job you really need to do. There are some things that are personal that there's no how. Yes, you want to put it behind, but you really at the same time can't drop them behind because they are part of you. How do you ensure that people have this understanding and help people feel better even when they have challenges and still carry along with their job?
Okay, so like I always tell people, at the end of the day, at the end of when we put aside all these titles and everything, oh, I'm an MBA holder, oh, I'm a manager, I'm an engineer. At the end of the day, you're still human, right? So you see that thing of, oh, dropping your personal challenges at the gate, it's a big lie. It's a big lie. If you want to be realistic, you need to be realistic enough as an employer to tell yourself that that is a fallacy. You can't, because if somebody is not happy at home, they can't give their best at work, right?
Okay.
You know, if they're having issues, we're humans at the end of the day. Let's not deceive ourselves, right? Imagine a man that has a fight with his wife in the house before he leaves, or a woman that just had an argument, a serious argument with her husband, or is having challenges. Maybe she has a rebellious kid that she's
dealing with
at home, and then you tell her to. We could do that a lot of times. A lot of people try to do that. They try to like put aside and wear that facade and say, oh,
look beautiful again for themselves.
Once they wear that their makeup, you say, oh, but deep down, there's a point. There's only so much you can take. There's only how far you can play that game. At some point, it tells on you. And when it does, most times, what usually happens is that the day they actually fall apart, they fall in pieces.
The day they actually fall apart, they fall in pieces. And such will have cases of people that just give up. Oh, I saw her in the office today. Oh, I saw her yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, I met her in a party.
Yes.
Oh, was she really going through anything? Yes. I mean, I'm trying to relate,
right? I agree with you.
I
agree with you. I totally agree with you. So that is why my approach to human resources, I do not ignore the human element. I do not ignore the human element, so everything I do, I always factor it in. I always factor it in. When I'm dealing with my colleagues, when I'm managing up, I'm managing down, I always factor in the human element. Because if you decide to stay blind to it, something will happen and you have no choice but to face reality. And at that point, the damage has already been done.
Oh, wow. Okay, so let me quickly add this part before we go back again into the women thing. It's a women affair. All right, so talking about you considering your colleagues, putting them, first. Now, most times you hear people say that, oh, if anything happens to you today, the job continues. We get to hear this a whole lot. But as a HR person, where you belong, do you think it's really beyond, oh, the work just have to move on? I don't know if you get my point now. Are there more you really need to do, especially for CEOs, for business owners and all of that, to understand that, yes, I mean, I know the job needs to go on, but this is a human. I don't know. Do you get my point?
Yes, I do. What the best you can do, actually, right? You can only force, you can force a horse to the river, but you can't force it to drink, right? So as an HR, what you can do is, what we try to do is we try to, regularly sensitize management. We try to regularly sensitize our colleagues and the people we work with, to be aware of these things, right? But at the end of the day, you can't force anything. You can't force anything. When you say humans, we're humans at the end of the day. So there's very little, there's really very little you can do.
Okay,
the job must actually go on.
Yes. Okay,
the job must actually go on. That's
yes, I get that part.
From a business perspective.
From
you know why?
Because the job must go on.
Regardless of the fact that, oh, I'm a HR person, I'm also a business person. So as I'm looking at the HR end, I'm also looking at the business end, and I'm making sure that, the process is, the business doesn't shut down.
So you try to balance it.
You try to create a balance. So it's a balancing act at the end of the day.
That's it. Okay, so let's come back to the women affair thing. You know, so I would say this again, it's International Women's Day, and we are looking at where it all started from. Today, women are advocating for equality. Women are advocating for inclusivity, right? And back in the days, we have situations whereby women are not allowed to take some certain decisions. Women are not allowed to choose their career, you know. Women are not allowed to study or, you know, some other things. Like, oh, you're just there to take care of the family, you are there to do the house chores and to cook and all of that.
Yes.
So finding yourself in your field, at any point in time where you've been restricted, where you've been given, okay, this is the direction, this is what I want you to do because you're a woman. And how did you find yourself in this field?
Okay.
So I'm taking you back memory lane.
Yes.
I guess.
I actually started my career many years ago with my, will I say, church. I started as the HR for a church.
Oh, I see.
You know, so they needed someone, you know, that was going to do the human resources, the admin. So I was just in that capacity. I started small. Do not despise the days of little beginnings.
You know?
You know, so I actually started small, you know, but I always knew that because I started small, I wouldn't end up small.
Obviously.
It was a journey for me, and I've learned to enjoy that journey, right? Now, so answering your question about equality, right? There are two sides to equality. It's very easy for women to say, oh, we want equality, you know, we want equality, we want equality. Let's sing Kumbaya.
Let's sing it.
Right? But are you willing to do the work? Equality it's very easy to give equality, but are you willing to do the work that comes with it? For example, assuming we say, okay, let's give equal work or equal, right?
Yes.
Emphasis
equal.
on equal,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Let's give equal portions of work to male and female, right? So what that does is that if, assuming a male would naturally carry 10 pieces or 10 units of something, it means the woman folk will also carry 10 units. Now what that does is that, because it means that the natural woman and the natural men, let's not deceive ourselves. Men and women are built different, right?
Oh, okay.
So it just means at the end of the day that women will need to push themselves extra to get that job done. There are times when let me just tell you, there are some things that are rigged against women, right? For example, women have their monthly issues, right? But yet we're expected to show up at work like nothing is going on. But we know that thing can take a toll on your mental health.
Of course, a lot of health challenges around it. Yes,
it can even make you depressed at that time of the month. But guess what? Equality says you show up. Equality says you show up, and that's what I do. I try not to, and it has worked for me. I don't give excuses. I don't give, I'm a woman now, you know. No, because the moment you start to do that, then the male folk will be like, but you said we should give you equality. So, but to counter that, right, what I prefer is equity.
Okay.
Gender equity. Not necessarily equality.
Yeah.
You know, because if you want to go the equality route, it might not be to our advantage. That's why you see the feminist movement, they are not as happy as they say they are, because equality has been rigged, has now been tweaked against them. You know, so now they have to do more work than extra. You know, now they are bending over backwards just to meet, you know, requirements.
Okay, so thank you. Talking about requirements and equity, yes, I like the fact that you are able to make, you know, to just break it down. Yeah, a lot of people keep talking about equality. I mean, I don't know how far we can stretch this. But let's talk about economic disempowerment. And, you know, this have to do with exploitative labor practices. So I'm talking about between women and men. right? So, for example, you have a woman do a technical job because you know she's a female force, and basically you agree with me, it's not a female job the way we see it, right?
Yeah.
Today you see women doing the mechanical job, you see even male doing the female jobs like beautician, you know, and all of that. So, but then when you have a woman doing a mechanical job and employed to do so, you see that the wages somehow are not the same.
I totally disapprove.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to speak to. That's exactly what I wanted to speak to, right?
I see it happening a lot.
That's exactly what I wanted to speak to, because that is the mentality. I mean, I've done a bit of a sampling, information here and there, and people will tell you, oh no, in fact, you see in the beauty industry, the male folks are more patronized, more paid than the female folks.
Yes, especially in corporate.
So vis-a-vis, do you understand? So that's what I'm using that, what's it called now? The mechanical engineering as an example. Prove me wrong.
No, I'm not proving you wrong.
Okay.
You are right. That's what's obtainable in the market, in the marketplace.
And so why is it so?
But I believe it's societal stereotypes and, you know, maybe cultural inclinations, right? They just believe that, okay, you're a woman. A man is obviously taking care of you, so you don't really need that much money. But a man, he's the one carrying the weight of the family. But guess what? A lot of women are the ones carrying their homes. Quote me anywhere. A lot of women are carrying the financial weight of their homes. They pay school fees. They take care of feeding. You know, that's not to say that women should not play their part towards, you know, taking care of the family, you know. It may not always be up for the man. The woman should be able to support, quite all right. But it shouldn't now become a yardstick that, oh, women have men taking care of them, so therefore they should be paid less. Trust me, I believe in demanding your full weight in gold. I believe in demanding your full weight in gold as a woman.
Okay.
You know, if you're worth it, you know your onions, you know your stuff.
Spell it out?
Demand your weight in gold. Don't even, no questions asked, don't even sugarcoat it. But the sad part is that if you decide to demand your weight in gold now, because most times women, you see this thing they say women supporting women.
Yes.
It's actually not the case. Sorry to break your heart, right?
Okay.
Another woman will go and take that thing for less behind your back. So where does standing together come in?
Comes in.
You know, we need to be able to stand together with one voice and say, okay, this is what we want, this is what we're asking for, and we're not changing our stand. We're holding our fort until we get what we want, which is equal pay.
That's it. That's it. Okay, so thank you very much, Imade. I mean, I think you've done to an extent. You've taken care of most of the questions I have for you today. But we're going to go on a short break, and we'll come back. When we return, we'll be taking maybe a few more questions before we let you go. Don't go anywhere. It's still Souq Pause. We'll be right back.
Three Wise Men. Iconic sculptures and statues adorn major metropolitan cities of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria, the statue of three men designed to depict the state's cultural heritage and to usher in visitors and tourists into the ever-accommodating center of excellence is no doubt an astounding work of art. Originally built under the administration of Colonel Raji Rasaki, designed by Bodu Shodende in 1991 and standing over 12 feet high, referred to as Agba Meta or Aro Meta, the three sculptured chiefs were placed along the Lagos-Ibadan toll gate to welcome people coming into Lagos State. The statue called the Three Wise Men by many has become a major signature for the state. Three white-capped chiefs clad in white wrappers knotted across their shoulders and with clenched right fists are shown in the artwork. The images fascinate and create impressions in the minds of visitors coming into the state, captivating the attention of visitors. who look with keen interest, pondering on the messages which the posture of the engraved images signifies. The three wise men has been relocated thrice from its original position at Ojodu Berger end of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to Magodo area before its final relocation to its present site at Olowopopo Drive. The sculpture has suffered severe damages over the years and renovated. Bodun Shodende, through this sculpture, depicted the highest honor that can be afforded to anyone in the eco-greeting tradition. The three wise men, Arometa, Souq, Enlightenment.
Broad Street. Broad Street, situated in Lagos Island, is steeped in Nigerian history. Once the biggest financial hub of the country, it housed the headquarters of major banks, linked the CBN, the stock exchange, and the loads of lender companies. Broad Street is a historically significant street. It has played a central role in the development of Lagos and history, an important commercial and administrative center for the British colonial authorities. It was also a home to some of the city's earliest modern buildings. Broad Street was a residential area in the pre-colonial era. With the British came the Methodist Boys High School in 1878 and the Broad Street Prison in 1882, renamed Freedom Park. The General Hospital, which was a British military hospital, was built in 1893, being the first general hospital in Nigeria. The old British Secretariat building, which is now the Federal Ministry of Justice, was built in 1906. Broad Street has seen a full turn into modern commercial office blocks, complexes, skyscrapers, and markets from the Outer Marina through Akpombo, early into the Adeniji Adele Road. Broad Street is one of the busiest streets in Nigeria on weekdays, where commercial activities take place day and night. From modern buildings to ancient structures, this street gives one a raw dose of life in Lagos. Broad Street is often referred to as Lagos Financial District. It boasts a mix of architectural styles, reflecting its long history, colonial-era buildings, Victorian and Edwardian architectural features, alongside more modern skyscrapers and structures. Broad Street remains a vital, vibrant part of the Nigerian economy. Broad Street. Souq Enlightenment.
All right, thank you for joining us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it is Souq Pause. And my name remains Grace Komolafe. We've been speaking with Imade Ausare. Sorry about that, if I murdered your name. You know, and of course, it's International Women's Day, so we've been talking about women, and one way or the other, we've been able to generalize some of the conversation. Yes, because we can't do without one another. Let's be very sincere. So, moving on, before I let you go, you know, I said that before we went on a break, I'm just going to take one or two more questions. You know, as a top management and who've been dealing with male and female, I mean, are there challenges when you have to, you know, have to be in charge and tell some male folks to do some things, give directions, not orders, give directions, and what are the challenges I experienced so far?
Okay, the basic challenge, like if you ask me, because to me, I feel every gender, there's an advantage to every gender, right? Because of their peculiarities. So the key is just knowing, understanding them and knowing how to navigate, you know, both genders. There's really, I don't think there's really any difficulty, honestly, to me. If you know who you're dealing with, you will know how to navigate them. You will know how to work with them. So I don't think there's any major challenge, but there will be times when men just say, oh, you're a woman. But if you're a woman that you know the stuff that you're made of, things like that will not move you, you know. So you have to keep a level head, you know, maintain your center up here and know that what they're saying doesn't speak to you directly. It speaks more about their own, ideologies, which has nothing to do with you, right? So you don't let things like that flare you up, to now get to the point of where you become emotional. Keep your emotions at bay as much as possible when things, when things like that happen. It helps you to minimize damage, because when somebody like that is going ballistic, you need to be able to have a lot of emotional intelligence and a lot of political intelligence to know how to navigate that scenario at that point and come out with your head held high.
All right, okay, so you've talked about trying to manage emotions at workplace, but of course you have some situations.
Sorry to cut in. I just wanted to add, because there's also a place for knowing when to be firm and knowing when to be soft. Right? Because we women, we have the capacity to actually be at both extremes, right? Women are naturally very soft. We're naturally built very soft. We're like flowers. But when we need to be, we can be as strong as a lion, So you need to know when to play between both extremes. Most times I recommend staying in your soft side, because that's our natural element. But only when extreme, cases call for it, you need to put your foot down.
So you don't think about when advantages are being taken, when someone is taking advantage of you because you are staying on your soft end. I'm just asking.
They say play a fool to catch a fool.
Okay.
You can play on your soft side and still know how to navigate and get what you want at the end of the day. Everything is not about fighting, because I have colleagues, more like, people that I mentor, because I have a lot of young HR professionals and young professionals that I mentor. And they're like, when they talk about conflict, I tell them most times, it's not the fight that gets you the results. Sometimes you have to be able to strategize and know how to approach people to get what you want.
All right, so let me ask you this one last question before probably you're going to speak to women generally. So, and that question is, what is the right of women in a workplace? Are there, would you say it's equal right? Would you say because you're female folks, there are things you should do and things you shouldn't?
I don't think it's a matter of equal or no equal rights, right? Because if you know your rights, you shouldn't be bothered about whether equal rights are being given to you. Sometimes you take your rights.
Okay.
Sometimes you take your rights. If you know what's your right, you take it. And most times, if you're the timid kind that, you really don't know where you stand, you're not assertive in who you are and your purpose, you won't be able to, people will just be taking liberties with you.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. So while we let you go, I'd like you to just speak to women generally, because yes, you are a public speaker. I think I saw that in your
I do.
And it's International Women's Day. The theme is saying that you should invest in women and accelerate progress. Briefly, what would you say?
Okay, so to that, I would like to say it's great. It's very great. It's great to say, oh, let's invest in women. But the first thing is, are women ready to invest in themselves? Because you need to be able to invest in yourself to a certain extent before people take interest and say, oh, I want to invest in this person. Have you invested in yourself enough to be worth investing in? It's easy to wait around for someone else to come and lift you up. But gone are those days. Gone are those days. If you have to claw your way up, claw your way up, because nobody is coming to save you. You have to save yourself first before someone else comes. And we need to be able to not confine ourselves to the societal stereotypes. There's been a box that women have been kept in for too long. We need to break out of that box and begin to break bounds.
All right. Thank you very much, Emadi Osare.
Thank you so much.
I don't know. Please, can you help me one more time?
Imade Osairai.
Osairai. That's my tongue. All right, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much
thank
for
you
having
giving
me.
us your time, and I want to wish you a happy International Women's Day.
I wish you same too.
Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.
So we're not done yet with Souq Pulse. I also want to briefly speak to women out there. I mean, like she rightly mentioned, that you need to invest in yourself. What way do you want to do that? You look at yourself, what are those things you think you can do differently? Do you need to acquire a skill to become a better person? Do you need to go study? Do you need to go to school all afresh again? I mean, it's not too late. Education has no age and time or limit. We see men and women of 50, 60, even going back to school, you know, getting things done, getting themselves involved in major activities in diverse industry. What industry do you think it's okay for you that you want to flow with and you will be able to do well and you will accelerate progress? When you're talking about accelerating progress, it means pushing forward, pushing for growth. How do you want to become a better person? How do you intend to push for growth? How do you intend to accelerate progress? Yes, and that's what we're talking about today. It's all female affairs thing, and then we've decided to bring in a young person again who will be sharing briefly with us about her career, her interest, and all of that. So I want to welcome Elizabeth Aino.
Hello, Grace.
Elizabeth, it's nice having you. She's a young
Same here.
editor. She's a female editor, you know, and when I see women do things men do, you know, I feel so excited, you know. So, and that's why we're having her here, looking at the theme, invest in women. And also the campaign drive is actually saying inspire inclusion. So I want Elizabeth to speak to this. So having you in that space where you have a lot of guys, you have the men folks do their thing, and you decide to go way into it. What gave you that courage?
It wasn't really easy. So I'm a female video editor, which is really rare. So it's just now women are beginning to break through, or women are beginning to go into such profession. We find more of men, like 85% of men in video editing. So it wasn't really easy at all. It wasn't really easy. So I went to a film school where we have TV production and TV journalism. I remember when I was applying, and they were asking me if I would apply for TV production or TV journalism. And the lady that was supposed to like sign the stuff, she was like, oh, TV journalism, right? I'm like, no, TV production. She was like, no, TV production is people that do video editing, camera work, behind the scene, but journalism is the newscasting and all that. You sure? Maybe you make the mistake. I think it's TV journalism. I know. It's TV production. You get? So, and then having to, in the department, were very few women. Like, if I could recall, we're like 10 out of, I think 90 or 80 something men, and we're just like 10 women in TV, in video editing. And now, I think we're just like two of us that are practicing video editing now, just 2 of us out of 10 that are practicing video editing. So it wasn't really easy. And breaking through that path, it was a struggle for me, because at some point, I left video editing as a whole. Just right before I graduated, I left it as a whole. I was like, you know what, let me go into presenting, do something more feminine or stuff like that. And my internship in school really opened my eyes to a lot of things, because where I went to intern, I was the only female editor there, and I wasn't treated any differently. You're an editor, you're an editor. Doesn't matter if you're a female or you're a guy. If the male editors are going to sleep over, you're going to sleep over. It doesn't like maybe you're on your monthly stuff or anything like that, you're going to sleep over, okay? So having to have that determination that, okay, I still want to stay here. Video editing is filled with men, but I still want to stay here. I still want to do this. It's not easy. I could tell that even till now, in a way, I still ask myself, is this something you want to do? I still do that. Every single day, if I wake up, coming to work, I still ask myself, is this something you want to do? Okay? But then, there's something that keep pushing you, keep encouraging you that, okay, women are not much in this profession, so this should be something I used to encourage other ladies out there. Okay, let's occupy this space. Oh,
I love that.
Let's occupy this space.
I think I really love that. Let's occupy the space, and that's where you are speaking to inclusivity. You know, inspiring inclusion. So you are inspired to get yourself involved. You really want to do so. what drive do you have to bring in more women into that industry? Tell me.
Okay, what drive? For me, what still encourages me to wake up every morning and come to work, so okay, I'm a video editor, and still present myself as a video editor, because I could easily dive into another profession right now. I could start to go into presenting or script writing. I'm still young, I could still learn it, but I'm still here. So each and every day, what makes me still keep that zeal that I still want to continue with this video editing is I have that interest, I have that love for it. And if I leave, what's going to happen to other young girls or young women that have interest in this? Are they also going to kill their dreams because of that? So for someone like me, continuing on this path is encouraging millions of ladies out there, thousands of ladies out there. If I'm successful in this field, I could encourage young women that can even do better than men in the industry. So each and every day, what drives me, what gives me that courage to say, okay, you know what, this video editing, I want to continue with it, is I see a lot of intelligent young women out there that some of my classmates that if these ladies edit videos for you with just apps on the phone, you'll be shocked. So me waking up every day, feel like I want to encourage these people. You understand? You have passion for this thing, you have the love for it, go into it. There are a lot of women out there. So if I can encourage other young girls who will take over the industry, we feel that means other young girls won't have the doubt to say, should I go into it? Because women like us have already paved that way.
They can see that you're making it and all of that.
Exactly.
Okay, so, all right, so while we take your last take, tell us, what's your goal for this year? 2024, what's your goal?
So to be brief, last year, December, you know, we're going to this whole, you write out what you want to do for the next year and stuff like that. I was questioning myself that do I still want to go on with this profession? I want to choose something else, you know. You're still young, you can still really dive into something else. You just take a short course to still have time and all that. But, so when I was setting out my goals, I was like, you know what, I'm not going into something else. I still want to continue on this path. And the goals I wrote out for myself is take a lot of short courses, you know, grow. And then there's really one thing I want to invest in this year. My goal is to train myself mentally that I won't have to doubt this profession anymore. I won't have to wake up in the morning and feel like, do I really want to go to work and edit? Should I stop editing and go into something else? So I want to train my mind mentally that I wake up every morning, no matter how stressful the work is, but I'll be like, this profession, I'm happy to do it. I want to continue doing it. Like, I don't have any doubts for it. I keep learning.
All right. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. I know. I think I love that part. You want to train yourself mentally. I'm going to pick it up from there, but then let me say thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
I hope that you go out there and really shine.
Amen.
Yes, you shine bright. Thank you, Elizabeth, for having
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes. So, I mean, I said I'm going to take it up from there, right? She said she needs to train herself mentally, you know, that she would stop doubting, you know, this profession, you know. If she's not enjoying it, then what's the essence? I used to say something to my people out there, for whoever cares, you know, to hear that I enjoy what I'm doing. Yeah, the job is not so easy, you know, it's tedious. You need to do some things, work out and work, but I enjoy my job, and I think that is very important. I would say to women out there that what is that thing that you know when you venture into it, you will enjoy it regardless of the stress, regardless of the troubles, challenges that will come with it. Because you enjoy it, it will keep you going, right? I think you really need to look into that and dive into it. And lastly, before we call it a wrap on Souq Pulse, we have another family in the house. I mean, male folks. Please just stay clear. It's our day and we just really want to enjoy it till the end of the day. Okay, so we have a beautician and she is no other but Isioma, if I am very correct, Okoye. Isioma Okoye, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Grace.
Glad having you.
Thank you.
So it's International Women's Day. Let me say happy International Women's Day.
Same to you.
So quickly, because we do not have so much time,
we
want to talk about inclusivity. Yes, the theme is saying invest in women, accelerate progress. And I know that in your industry, the male folks are already dragging with you.
I tell you.
The male folks are already dragging with you. So how are you sustaining it? How is the play like, you know, in that industry?
Well, so far it's been good. And you know, a lot of people prefer the male ones to render them the services. In terms of makeup, we have a lot of male makeup artists now, and people feel that guys, they don't take time doing their stuff and all that. But at the same time, the guys are doing well. They are coming up well as well.
All right, thank you. So I'm aware that you moved from Nigeria to Ghana. So like, you know, Souq Pulse, we don't just talk about issues around Nigeria. We go beyond borders, Africa, Asia, and all of that. So she's a business person. I mean, you do business within Nigeria and Ghana. So I mean, we are not far away from what we do as usual.
Yeah.
What's the business relationship like? The way you run your business, the way you are received, the transactions and all of that. Nigeria and Ghana, how is it like?
Well, like when it was the business that took me to Ghana.
Okay.
So when I got to Ghana, they are not really into makeup or beauty like us, but they are learning now.
Okay.
And they are kind of people that they welcome you.
Okay.
They are willing to learn more and know what the business is all about. So our job, like my job, is to make sure that they know what they are getting and it's very good for them.
Okay, so you have the male counterparts dominating. I've mentioned that earlier. But for the female, what would you have to say to them, those in this industry? So those that are also looking at, you know, venturing into your act, you know, yes, into cosmetics. They want to become beauticians. They want to do sales. You know, we just sell. We don't have to go and start doing the makeover and all of that. So because it's a day, what you want to say to them?
Okay, for going to cosmetic sales or beauty sales, what you have to do is to be sure of what you are doing first and foremost. And also, people believe in what you sell and what you give to them. The end result is that's what matters. And if they can trust you on that, you are good to go.
Okay, that's it. So, lastly, what would you say to women generally? We are talking about accelerating progress, you know. Accelerating progress, invest in women. What would you want to say to wrap it up completely while we will call it a day on Souq Pulse?
Okay. What I'll say for women, we need to invest in ourselves and also keep on doing what you know how to do well. Don't relent, no matter what is going on around you. Just be focused and do your best. All
right. Just be focused and do your best.
Yes.
I think that line is very key as well. I'm going to pick that out. Yes, because basically when you get on a project and you are not focused, you are one way or the other going to drift away.
Exactly.
So you have a project, you set a goal, being focused, staying focused is very key. So I agree with you. And you need to do your best. Doing your best does not mean this is what I can do. I don't have the capacity. No, doing your best means you keep doing it.
Just keep doing it.
You just keep doing it until you get results,
Exactly.
of course, and that's it. I want to say thank you very much, Isioma, for coming.
You so much for
I mean, you made my day. Yes, we've made it all women affair, and I love it just the way it is. I wish we would do this every once in a month.
Yeah, we'll have our own Women's Day too.
You know,
international one.
Oh, that's it. All right, thank you very much, and I want to say thank you for your time. If you I mean, it doesn't matter. You might just be coming at the close of the program. Don't worry. You can start all over and watch it so you can get a whole lot of information that have been shared on this table today. My name is Grace Komolafe. Don't worry. You're not going to see me on Monday. It's going to be Chooks again on the show. Yes. And until then, do have an amazing time out there. And I wish every woman success. I wish you the best. Happy International Women's Day. Bye-bye.